Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Lights, Camera, and Mine. I'm your host, John Ovayo, and it's currently spooking season. And it's currently October, and it's halfway through October, the beginning of October, so I'm going to review some horror or psychological thrillers this month. So, the first one on the list is M. Night Shyamalan's The Village. Released in 2004, a psychological thriller drama that have a lot of twists, turns, and a lot of philosophy and psychologically details throughout the film. So let's break it down. It's going to be a really great film, and let's get right into it. Shyamalan's The Village is one of the most quietly haunting films. A story wrapped in mystery, fear, and fragile boundaries between innocence and control. While it's marked as a horror movie about monsters looking for the woods, the audiences get interested, got something far deeper mention of fear, community, and human cost of isolation. This film really sparked really big debates when it came into community and religion. So let's get right into it, because this is going to be one hell of an episode to discuss. Now we're going to talk about the story. So it's set to appear in 19th century rural village. The film follows a group of people live under a strict rule. No one may leave the village and no one may cross the woods. Those of we who don't speak of is terrifying. Red cloak creatures haunt the village, and whoever gets out of that village will get attacked and murdered. It's really interesting, and the more we get into the film, the more you realize it's really psychological horror. The community place shatters when Lucius Hunt, played by the one and only Joaquin Phoenix, is quiet but curious, a young man present in the desire of adventure, seeking beyond borders. Because little by little, he starts questioning the village elders. They tell him everything is fine, but he's starting to realize some stuff that not a lot of people start to realize. And he seeks for medicine for someone who's ill. Later on, Lucius Hunt gets injured, and his love interest, Ivy Walker, played by Bryce Dallas Howard, a blind woman, soon becomes the film's emotional care and core. When tragedy strikes, Ivy must face the monsters and the truth beyond the village isolation. So that's pretty much the background of the movie, and I remember watching it once in a theology class because my professor said to watch it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch it. I think it's gonna be good. After watching it, I had a bunch of questions. So this will be the first movie I have to review for, I think I'm gonna call this series, every October, I wanna do a psychological horror theme, so this will be the first one on the list. We have a couple more to go through. I cannot wait. Pretty much Light Camera Action is gonna take over October for the main channel, and we're gonna do a lot of psychological horror deep dives, because that's one of my hyperfixation horror movies. So we're gonna get really into it, so I cannot wait. And just the premise alone is killer. So now on to the next part. Themes and symbolisms. I heard The Village is not about the monsters, but fear of the unknown and how leaders use fear and mind control to control people. Considered the village elders as politics, and considered the young villagers as people viewing the news. It really gets into that different genre of this does get political. At the same time, it does show different generations' points of view when it comes to religion, and also the fear of commitment to religion. And the head leader by Edward Walker, he does such a good role. Edward Walker as William Hunt is a modern word person trying to protect the word from innocent, and he builds pretty much this land full of secrets and lies to protect the ones he loves. The creatures we don't speak of is a symbolizing manifestation of fear, a tool to keep younger generations from seeking the truth and escape from this village. And it comments how society often invents enemies to retain order. So what I mean by that is, if you notice a lot in the news, not even in the news, but growing up culturally or based off your religion, you have assumptions on people. This movie is literally the whole allegory for bias. And I'm gonna talk about it more when it comes to color design, set design, behind the scenes, but this movie is one of a kind. Guys, if you guys need to watch something scary, watch M. Night Shyamalan, The Village. M. Night Shyamalan is one of my favorite directors. He's from Philly. And I have some amazing facts about the movie as well, but this movie is just so good. And Ivy's journey into the woods, blind and fear, becomes the metaphor of truth, challenges, and the pursuit of truth. The world is built by deception, but she can't really see the world because she's blind, but she sees more clearly than others because she goes more into a critical thinking type of way. So Ivy's character, she's blind, but she senses stuff that other people do not because she's more in tone with her emotions and feelings. So that's also a great aspect of that character, Ivy. And Bryce Howard does an amazing job. She does an amazing job playing Ivy in the movie as well. Cinematographer Roger Douglas points the film like a folklore painting. The muted colors, the palette greens, the yellows, the striking red of the so-called creatures in the woods makes it very eerie, but at the same time home-like. Emotional resonance of the community frames it liberate, almost painfully, adding the tension of beauty and horror into the story. And the using a lot of quiet sounds also is masterful of an eerie tone of the woods. Because anytime the community is having dinner or something, it's all lively, but then as soon as they hear a sound from the woods, it's quiet and we don't hear nothing for almost like a minute. That tension building, Roger Douglas really does this in this film, and it's amazing. Even from the subtle details of the cloak is red, and then one of the characters get berries and they say, do not touch the colors of the ones we don't speak of, is red. It really metaphors people from a different community or people from different points of view as well. As well as Ivory hand against the trees when walking through the woods build tension, unease without even showing that much violence. So this movie is a horror movie, but it's not that much violence, but it will creep you the hell out. So let me get into some of my favorite parts of the movie when it comes to performances. Bryce Dallas Howard gives a stunning breakout performance as Ivy. Warm, fearless, emotionally rich. Joaquin Phoenix plays Lucius, quiet, intense, and William Hunt, calm, like a priest, adds complexity to Edward Walker's more conflict. Even the supporting roles, like actors like Sterling Reaver and Aline Brody, brings texture, tragedy to the community webbed in secrets. So this cast, if you saw the lineup of the cast I just talked about, this cast was starstruck. You had Joaquin Phoenix, you had William Hunt, you had Bryce Dallas Howard, even Edward Walker's. Like, this movie is pretty starstruck. And this movie has a really good cast. So now we're gonna talk about the controversy that the film has, because that's the main point of the film. So when The Village premiered, many viewers left disappointed by the twist ending. That the story actually takes place in modern day, and the time of The Village was a social experiment. So yes, during the movie, all of it was a social experiment made by the leaders of the village because they wanted to protect their younger children and the future generations from heartache and pain. And as soon as we get this twist, the movie, you cannot see it the same. It was in the beginning. They was giving us hints the whole time. You don't know. Because you think it's 19th century. But then when you find out it's modern day, reality just shatters. But the time of the film gained more acceptance in audiences. It's so slow paced and emotional subtlety may not please everyone, but it's a perfect fit to retrospect tones. Instead of jump scares, M. Night Shyamalan delivers psychological horror. The one accent, the annoyance of really bias, and will we really be safe in every community that we live in? That is so good. I like how M. Night Shyamalan did this movie, but he did not did it based off a typical horror film. He took a simple premise of a community that lives in the woods, like, you know, really urban, really like rural. Like, he took this timepiece but made it a social experiment and made it really question people. Do I trust everyone in my community? And this whole movie is about that. Is it really biased? Is people really so-called loving the dear neighbor, like what people say? And this movie really takes that into notion, and I just love it. So my final thoughts are, The Village is one of M. Night Shyamalan's most misunderstood pieces of work. Anytime I talk about it with someone, they're like, well, it's okay, but you have to understand, M. Night Shyamalan's work is so confusing. He knew so much psychological and philosophy. You really need to break it down. It brings tragedy, fables about fear, love, and control, but brings it into a beautiful, whimsical, but terrifying place. I would need to give this film an 8 out of 10. Slow, atmosphere, deeply emotional film reveals a lot of twists and secrets that just gauge your attention. And that's pretty much my review for this film. Hopefully you guys liked it. This is the beginning of spooky season here on the main channel, because it's currently October, so I cannot wait. I have a couple other horror movies in mind that I want to review for this month. Tell me what is your favorite horror movie down below, and also tell me what is your favorite M. Night Shyamalan movie, because it's hard for me. It's either The Village or it's either Old. Old is one of my favorite movies, or 8 Cents from M. Night Shyamalan. It's really hard to pick because he's really good at directing. So I will see you guys next time, and hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. And remember, it's spooky season, so anything could happen. So see ya!